guys, it's Radio 200, and welcome to something I'm doing. This is going to be a tier list of all the Danganronpa deaths and executions. So I'll be ranking them based on how hard they hit and how lame their execution/death is. So, yeah, so spoiler warning for those of you who have not played all the games. As it says right here, as it says right here, spoiler warning. So if you have not beaten the games, you should probably click away right now and finish the games first. Alright, so as you can see, here's all the executions and deaths right here. So let's start with my least favorite death. That is kind of like the worst one that didn't really hit that hard. So in my opinion, the first death that was pretty bad was Miyu's, because all she did was get strangled to death pretty much, and you know, it's kind of a thing. So now we're going to go with executions. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go between executions, and I'm going to switch between both of them. Executions and deaths. So next will be an execution. So the lamest execution in the game, which is probably no surprise to anybody, is Mikon. Because her execution, all it really is just her getting off to a freaking arm getting pumped with whatever it is Monica was pumping with it. So yeah, those two deaths are not very good. So yeah, and now all the Despair Girls deaths are probably going to be in the same list in the bottom, because there's not really executions for Danganronpa Ultra Despair Girls. So yeah. Anyways, next execution that I find next death that I find that's it's kind of boring and lame is Sayaka, because she just literally got stabbed by a knife, and that's pretty much it. That's like the most basic death you can get, but it's better than me just getting strangled to death. So yeah. Actually, you know what? Actually, no, I'll take that back. Kyoko's death is kind of boring, because yeah. And it didn't really. I'm also kind of ranking this to the characters that I like and don't like as well, sort of. So next execution would be Kyoko. And the thing, Kyoko's death is not canon for the game, so that's why she's in there. Alright, so, as I said, I'm just going to put all the Despair Girls character stuff here, because as I said, the Despair Girls doesn't really have executions. It's more of a I don't know why Nekomaru's on here. Alright, well then. Alright, so next is going to be there's going to be another death. So the death that I think is another death that now I'm going to do the deaths that I think are okay. So starting off, we're going to start with Sayaka's death, because well, no matter how many times I see her death, I can never get over it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. next is an execution. So the next one will be... you know what? I forgot about Sakura. Maybe she's more lame. I'll put her right here. Her death is a bit more lame than Mia's. So... yeah, so... as I said, I put all the Warriors of Hope in here. So yeah. Okay. Alright, so the next death that I think is pretty good is Chihiro. Because, well, she gets hit over the head with something like, he gets hit over the head with something blunt and then gets strung up, which is a pretty interesting crime scene to discover when you first discover it. So that's going there, and I'm Ryoma's gonna go right here because Ryoma's death was sad, yes, but it was just literally drowning pretty much. So next would be the next execution, which actually the rest of these are actually pretty good. So I think that's all for this list here. If there's anything I see else that needs to go into here, I'll put it in here. But we're gonna go to B tier, which means deaths that kind of actually were pretty sad and actually kind of made me feel a little bit. Oh well, Hifumi is out of the question. So, anyways. Hifumi's like, he's down here because I don't really like Hifumi that much. Anyways, so next is Yuda. Yuda's death is pretty sad because Nekomaru got sad and, all that stuff because she just met this person. He just died immediately. So, who is this one? I can't tell who that is. Oh, it's Tenko. Okay. Alright, anyways. So, the next death that I think was the saddest was Tenko. Because Himiko literally cared for her a lot. And, well, Gorkyo being the douche she was, is like, you know what? I didn't want to get rid of her. So, Monami's actually the lowest because she didn't actually die. She came back. So, alright, so, okay, so next is Leon's execution. It was pretty sad, yes. I don't like him still, but, it was a pretty sad death otherwise, regardless. So, oh, that's Nekomaru. Okay. Next death, I think, is pretty sad. Nekomaru. Because he literally came back right after the 3rd chapter and then died immediately in the 4th chapter. Which, in my opinion, is pretty sad. So, I don't know what Kamaru's execution was, so I'll just put that there. I don't remember if she had an execution. I guess she technically did, but she actually didn't die from it. Technically. So, I guess that would be the same level as Monami. Anyways, next up is Angie Yonaga's death. So, Angie Yonaga's death was pretty sad. And I will say that when she died, I was pretty sad. So, it was pretty... yeah. Alright, so that's all we're putting in this tier. So let's go ahead and move on to A tier. So, first death in A tier, which is actually the lowest one, Taka. So, Taka's death, it was pretty sad, yes. And it did make me get sad a little bit. But, you know, it's not really a character I care about that much. So that's why it was like, not that bad. But I think everybody would probably agree that Taka's death is actually pretty sad. So I'm putting him in there. Next, Ultimate Imposter. Ultimate Imposter / Tugami, as most people refer to as. His death is pretty sad as well. I mean, yeah, I didn't really care for that much. Next up, Ibuki. So, Ibuki, her death was very painful because she was strangled to death, for one thing. In a real life, not in a virtual simulation like hers was. Well, I guess technically it was virtual simulation, I guess. But yes. Next up, we've got Mono Kid. His death was pretty interesting and pretty cool looking, I gotta say. It was like, he literally got smashed by the piano head, so, yeah. Speaking of piano, well, nah, I'm not gonna put her there yet. So, I will put Korokio because I think his execution is interesting and pretty cool. Because he literally gets turned into a ghost and then exorcised by Monokuma, which is kind of funny, in my opinion. So, next, up on the list, Kokichi's death. Kokichi's death was very creative. I liked how, like, he made Kaito crush him. So that way, no one could, so he could try to stop the killing game. And yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, that's what I thought was pretty interesting. So yeah. Speaking of which, the same trial, Kaito's execution. So Kaito, well, his execution didn't actually work, which I found interesting. So, which I found very interesting because he literally died happy. That was like one of the best ones there. I'm gonna put Mono Dam in there, and I'll put Nananosuke right here as well. All right, next is Mono Fanny. Being ripped from the inside is actually pretty painful, I would think. And it was probably very hard to watch for the class. So, yeah. Next, and then also Teru is also in the B slot. His death. All right, now we're getting to the top tier that I think are the best deaths and best executions that I've seen. Actually, let's put. Okay, I got one more thing to put in here. I'm gonna put Gonta's execution there. All right, now we're going to my favorite, what I think is the most creative deaths, and the most interesting deaths, and also the ones that made me, well, not really cry, but you know what I'm trying to say. All right, first off, we have Chiaki's execution from the anime. Yeah, that was like really, really sad. And I about did cry when I watched the anime. So, Shiaki's execution was this execution was very, very sad. Oh, Ranataro I'll put right there. Next off, the thing that made me second sad, Shiaki's execution from the game. So, Shiaki's execution from the game, it was pretty sad. Yes, it was. And actually, now that I think about it, I think Gundam's actually before this Chiaki execution, because Gundam was a bit sadder than Chiaki's execution, because he literally died in front of his animals, which is pretty sad. So, now, for one of my most creative deaths, Nagito. Nagito had the most creative death, stabbing himself in the hand, and legs and stuff, which, when I found that crime scene, I was like, damn. That's the kind of thing that makes me realize, yeah, oh damn, this is a great death. Next up, actually no, I'll put Kaede right here, because I will tell you one thing. When Kaede died, I was so sad that I didn't get back on Discord for a couple of days. So yeah, Kaede's death, pretty sad. Next up, Junko's execution. Junko's execution was pretty interesting. Actually went through all the previous punishments that she inflicted on everybody else. So, that was pretty good. Next death that was pretty brutal and sad was Kirumi. It's more along the lines that she tried to escape the execution. That made it really sad. So, yeah. Next up, Mondo's execution. The Mondo butter execution, the execution where we can literally turns into butter, is kind of interesting. Oh, also Makoto's executions in C. I forgot to tell you guys. I forgot to do that. Next off, we have Monotaro's execution, which is pretty sad because he literally got cut in half, which is one of the most brutal ways you can die. Next saddest, I'm going to actually move Pekko's to right here, because Pekka's execution was pretty sad because of the fact that she nearly killed Fuyuhiko. So, next up, Mahira's death. Mahira's death was pretty sad. Mahira's death was pretty sad. When I saw that for the first time, I was like, she's one of the characters that I didn't want to die, and she ended up dying. So, yeah. Yeah. Alright, also, Alter Ego is an S tier. Because Alter Egos is pretty good. Another lame execution is Tsumugi, because she just gets crushed by a rock. So, that's pretty lame. So, finally, this execution here. Kibo's execution, where he sacrifices himself to let Maki and the others escape. To let Maki, Shuichi, and Himiko escape. It was pretty good. So, yeah. Anyways, if you guys have your own opinions on this, just let me know what you thought in the comments down below. This is my opinion, not not official. I'm not saying this is the best order. So if you have your own opinion, let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, if you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And don't forget to subscribe because it's free and you don't have to pay anything. So it's free, no money involved. If you don't like my content, you can always unsubscribe. Also, check out Danganronpa Chracters Play. That's a channel where me and some of my other friends, we voice act characters and play games from Danganronpa. Same thing at Dangan Voice Academy Resurrected. We also do stuff there too. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys here. This is Radio 200, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.